Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
Thank you, Ruth. Members, agenda item 1 is apologies. I have an apology from the Chair, Councillor McNeil, but just checking through the floor and seeing if there are any other apologies. Okay, that's a no. Declarations of interest then, members. If there are any, I can take them now, or if members are happy to declare them as the meeting progresses. And then, members, we're going to move to agenda item 3 of the environmental health report. Agenda item 3.1 about the Private Tenancies Act, and I'm going to hand over to Gillian.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, members. Members, the report for you this evening is an update on new legislative powers for the Council in relation to the private rented sector, and also, members, to a decision for you this evening to agree some fixed penalty levels for offences created within new parts of the Private Tenancies Act. Members, the detail of the various offences is set out at Appendix 1, and you will see that the offences relate to tenancy deposit schemes, tenancy notice periods, the right to a written receipt, all, members, enhancing powers for the Council and enhancing the rights of those in the private rented sector, and placing additional requirements on landlords. Members, with these new offences, the Council have the powers to issue fixed penalty notices, and the Council also have the powers to set the level of fixed penalty fine for those offences. Members, the report at Appendix 3 sets out the proposed fixed penalty amounts, and I would refer you to that appendix. You will see most of those will be set at £500. Members, there has been no additional funding allocation given to councils in relation to the enforcement of this. It would be envisaged that income would be generated through the use of our enforcement powers. So, members, I make the recommendation to you that you would consider and adopt the fixed penalty amounts as set out in the appendix. Thank you.
Thank you, Gillian. Members, I have no hands up in the chamber and no hands up online. So could I have a proposer and seconder, please? Thank you, Alderman Mutre. Thank you, Councillor McElrath. That's great. Councillor Hawkins, had you your hand up just to propose your second? Yes?
Yes, Chair, thanks.
Or were you looking in? Oh, thank you. Okay, members, agenda item 3.2 is an information item. So unless there are any questions, are we agreed to note? Okay, good. No hands up online. Agenda item 4, environmental services report. And for agenda item 4.1, I'm going to hand over to Barry. So Barry, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Evening, members. The report before you this evening is asking for permission for a baby loss memorial garden to be put in place in the Palace grounds in Armagh. There's a map attached. Members will note that the garden, there is a garden there that had presumably had a sundial or something in the middle of it. So the work that we're proposing is fairly minimal. But the group had approached a number of councillors. Councillors then approached officers about the provision of a location for contemplation, really, for those who had lost children. We had talked about the possibility of having it at one of the local cemeteries, but the group would prefer that it was somewhere neutral. Again, it's this idea that it's not in a cemetery, it is somewhere to go and relax and contemplate. As I say, officers have identified an area that had been used and is being used at the minute. The proposal would be that we put in 2 benches. We would replace the bedding that we usually put in the summer and then remove in the winter. We would put more sustainable planting in there, and it would be there for the duration. The group then would work with officers and elected members around a focal point for that, and that could happen if and when in the future with obviously members' agreement. happy to take any thoughts, questions about this, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Barry. I'm going to bring in Councillor Flaherty.
Okay, Chair. That's okay, Chair. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Chair, for letting me in. Thanks for the report, Barry. I've spoken to you at length about this over a long period of time, it has to be said. I know we've had this discussion about the need for these areas and why parents and families do require them. So we're not going to go over that all again. Chair, just let me be clear. I am more than happy to propose this recommendation. I know that area behind Armagh Palace quite well. It's actually quite close to the Century Garden too, which looks amazing since it was refurbished in 2019. So yes, I will propose this. But on top of that, Barry, and Chair, you will appreciate what I'm going to say here. This issue has already been raised through this committee and others. And I have to say, I've been somewhat disappointed at the way that has went over the years. So it'll be of no surprise to you that along with proposing this, and I say more than happy to do so, I will expect nothing less than similar in the site indicated in Tanachmore Gardens that was previously put through committee. So if we can make sure that that's it, I know we have discussed this, Chair, yourself and I have discussed this as well. So as long as that can be expedited in the same manner that this has came to committee, I'll be more than happy. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Flaherty. And I know that Barry is going to meet both of us on site just to get that moving again. But I absolutely agree that it needs to be picked up and we need to see this through to completion. Jonathan, are you looking in? Are you okay? No. Alderman Baxter.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I'm quite happy to second the proposal from Councillor Flaherty, and also agree with yourself, Chair, and Councillor Flaherty that the Tanachmore Gardens issue, let's get it moved on because it's been talked about. I remember it being raised quite a while ago, so really we should be at that place now where, yeah, we should be there. So quite happy to support the proposal in its entirety. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Baxter and Councillor Toman.
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, I just want to just offer my support just for the proposal as well. I think this garden will be, that this garden, created will be to the benefit of the whole community to enjoy, and it will become a special place for those who have been touched by a death of a baby to reflect and to find peace. So happy support, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Toman, and thank you, members. So proposed by Councillor Flaherty, seconded by Alderman Baxter, along with the need throughout the chamber to continue and bring to completion our Memorial Garden and Tanachmore Gardens. So thank you. Members, agenda item 4.2 then, I'm going to go back to Barry. So thank you, Barry.
Thank you, Chair. The recommendation before you this evening, members, is around Portadown Running Club that proposed to hold a running festival on Sunday the 12th of March from 7 in the morning to 3:30 p.m. in Portadown's People's Park. Similar to other events that members have had to look at, the club wish there to be, it will take all day. There will be more people in the park. The park will remain open. So if people want to use the park for dog walking, etc., they'll be able to do that. The club have engaged with Southern Area Hospice in relation to charity giving, and we wish to set aside the bylaw that they can have stalls, etc. If members agree to this evening, we will work with them in relation to the relevant health and safety and the insurance documentation. And really, it's just asking members to agree this. Officers have engaged with the organisation. They're content that there's no reason operationally why this can't happen. So happy to take any thoughts or comments.
Thank you again, Barry. Councillor Flaherty.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. similar event has run before. Am I correct? I think there has been a similar event, hasn't there? By the same, yeah. Look, and I know the club. There's just one query. I'm happy to propose this, by the way, Chair, just to be clear at the outset. But there is one query I do have. I know the club has already spoken to some individuals and some organisations in the town on that Sunday. Apologies. Now, a number of the churches have been in touch. They're just slightly concerned about their congregations getting in the morning along the route. Now, there's no map there. I have a brave idea what the route is, but can we just have some assurances that they can pass on to their congregations about getting in there? So in and around that sort of 10:30, 11 time, I'm sure that would be no issue, just so that they're a wee bit more reassured about it and also can pass on the relative timings. Just for example, if they did need to change times or something, just to accommodate all.
Yeah.
Barry, that is no problem, and that'll be sorted. Councillor Duffy.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Happy to second that. I think it was run before under Craigavon Running Club, and they changed their name to Portdown Running Club. No, it's just not to have it the way to go to full council as well, because local residents in the Park Road area and the surrounding area will have to be, notified. And could the running club possibly do that as soon as possible? Because I know a number of them would have home helps coming in and out on a Sunday, and I just don't want any upset there. Even if we could talk to the residents group and all within the Portadown Open Street area, let them know what's happening, rather than wait the full council for this to be ratified, and then you've only 12 days, whatever. So if it could be done now, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Duffy. And I'm being told by both Barry and Jonathan that they will reach out to the residents group and get word of this out and about, so that doesn't become an issue. Fair point. I have no other hands up that I can see. With a proposer and seconder, so we will move on. So members, I now need a proposer and seconder to go into committee for consideration of confidential business. Thank you, Councillor McClelland, and thank you, Councillor Macaulay. So members and online viewers, in accordance with Schedule 6 of the Local Government Act, we will now be moving into a confidential session of the Council. This means that we will be turning off the public feed of the meeting, and we will return when the meeting is restarted to deal with AOB. Can I please ask Ruth to turn off the feed and confirm with me when the confidential section of this meeting can proceed? Oh, thank you. So agenda item 6, members, is correspondence, of which there is none. Agenda item 7 is any other relevant business, and I have was notified of one. So I'm going to bring in Councillor Hawking to deal with that.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, members will be glad to hear I'm the first person in 2023 to bring up dogfighting. So I've spoken to Gillian earlier today, but I was also just looking to put on record that I'm looking some of our team, if possible, to contact me about North Lurgan. I've noticed a spike, and I've been reported to me a spike in dogfighting in a very densely populated area. So if you could get one of your team to do that. But specifically tonight in the AOB, I wanted to ask, were there any plans to bring a report around the potential increase in fines around dogfighting? I noticed during the week that Lisburn and Castlereagh Council, they voted, although I'm not sure it's actually been brought forward completely. I think they voted in their equivalent committee to look at bringing this up to £200 for the fine. So look, it's not a completely straightforward matter. I know there'll be implications for people who maybe are already struggling if they're caught out with this, but I was hoping that you could confirm tonight if you're going to bring us a report to show if you have any plans to look at this, but also if there's any other areas you think we could improve in our approach to dogfighting in the hotspots around the borough. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Hawking and Gillian, you're happy to go back then to Councillor Hawking. Do you want to come in a wee minute? Yep. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And yes, Councillor Hawking, we will revert to you around those particular issues that you're referring to. In relation to the wider comment around increasing fines, yes, members, like Council, you may have picked up from the press just at the turn of the year that the Northern Ireland Assembly gave councils powers to increase the range of fixed penalty notices for litter and dogfighting, and also released parts of legislation under the Waste and Contaminated Land Order, which gave additional powers to council to address fly tipping. The second one would have much more severe implications for our resources than the first. And so we have a few officers, and also on a regional basis, looking at what those implications will be, because they will not be insignificant. And so we will want to bring back a report. We will have a report. I hope to have a report for March. And one of the things there will be the increase in fines and the increased potential that the council can increase fines up to £200 for litter and dogfighting. Members, it may be useful that we spent some time looking at this, perhaps whether in committee or in another format, because I think it would be useful to have some wider discussions on that, members. So I'm happy to bring the report in March, and also happy to take any other suggestion from members if you felt that it might be something you would wish to explore further.
Thank you, Gillian. Councillor Flaherty.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Gillian, for that. Chair, if you need a seconder if there was a proposal there that needed second, I'm happy to second that. Yes, Gillian, I think that'd be very useful. We did have a series of, I don't know if they were called workshops or what we called them at a time, a number of years ago, because I remember them clearly because they ran over the summer, and it was just focused specifically on different issues every time, and we were able to really, it wasn't terribly well attended, but you know, that's the way it goes. But if we could maybe get that going again, that would be helpful, just to drill down into some of these things. As you said, this new these new powers have come to us, and we need to get a grip on them, because Councillor Hawkins quite right. There are certain hotspots of this, which we know in every part of the borough, and we could maybe get a wee bit deeper into it. I think that'd be very useful. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. And I think you know, Councillor McNeill can then decide if the agenda is light for the next meeting, that we put a half an hour, 45 minutes on to the end, and if not, then officers will come back to us with dates for a workshop. So members, that's it. Thank you all for your attendance, and safe home.